Good evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel. Thank you for coming back. If you're new here, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, smash a like on the video as well. Our road to 2,000 subscribers is on. Lots to get into today. This Monday, a dreary Monday. It's raining outside quite heavily, and the news isn't great, if we're honest about it. But there is lots of news to get into. Good to see you in the chat. Ross, Luke, George, Connor. Good to see you. Not Jennings. I am not Rory Jennings. But look, lots to get into. Like I said, Saliba, bad news. We've got an update on Maitland-Niles, who is leaving in the summer. I'll talk about my feeling on who should play at centre-back or what we should do in the absence of Saliba against Man City on Wednesday. I've got updates on Wilfried Zaha and Mason Mount. And of course, we will have Guess the Gooner. Joe, Jack, good to see you as well. Kieran, AFC Comps and Sportcat, good to see you all in the chat. Is Saliba really out for Man City? Well, let's get into it. Reminder, if you're watching on TikTok, I am live on YouTube. The link is in my bio on TikTok. Please do head over and subscribe. I would be eternally grateful for it. So, the news on Saliba, it came out this morning from multiple outlets and some, very credible outlets. David Ornstein, the first person to talk about it, said Saliba will not be available to face Man City on Wednesday after recent assessments have failed to show sufficient progress. The expectation is that Saliba will also miss the match against Chelsea on the 2nd of May, amid increasing fears his campaign might be over. Not good at all. Tom Burton, good to see you as well. And then Sammy Mockbell for the Daily Mail followed that up by saying Arsenal have major concerns over William Saliba's lower back injury amid serious structural damage, which could result in a long-term layoff if he plays again this season. Sources have indicated Saliba has returned to training on the grass in the last few days, raising hope that he could play some role in Wednesday's huge clash against Man City at the Etihad. However, as of Sunday night, the club's hopes of having Saliba available for the potential decider are fading. Not good at all. Not good at all, unfortunately. And look, I had been saying it for a while. As much as we kept holding out hope for it, back injuries are brutal, especially in young people. And it's just, I think he's out for the season. And truthfully, if he doesn't play against Man City and there is any danger of him playing once, having a real long-term effect on him, just don't play him for the rest of the season. Because if we can't find a solution to his absence, if we can't find a way of winning games without Saliba, then him playing one game and missing the other 5 will make no difference because we'll drop points in the other 5 anyway. So at this point, whatever it is he needs to do to recover properly and be 100% ready to go next season, we need to do it now. If that's surgery, do it now. Because there's just no point keeping on praying and hoping and seeing how it gets, how it progresses. If it ends up actually costing us at the start of next season, it's brutal, it's unlucky, but it is what it is. And I know he has said that he'll play through the pain, he'll risk it, he doesn't care. That's the not naivety, but that's a 22-year-old who is desperate to play talking. The medics will know better, and it's just not worth the risk, especially with back injuries. It's really not. And so then we start talking about assuming that Saliba doesn't play on Wednesday. And look, I really don't think at this point that this is mind games or anything like that. The question then is who plays instead of Saliba? Do we stick with Rob Holding? For me, the answer is no. It's insanity. It's insanity. We know at this point the effect that starting Rob Holding is having on the team, on results, on goals conceded, on chances conceded. He just doesn't suit the system. He doesn't suit the system. We can see it statistically. We can see it visually through graphics of his positioning, how deep he sits. And I think the reason that we got away with it a bit, or in the first 2 games against Leeds and Crystal Palace with Holding, we didn't look to be exposed that much. But what you've got to bear in mind is those 2 teams wouldn't necessarily have had the data or the evidence to know how our system would change with Holding in it. The teams that have played since then, their staff will have looked at how those 2 games against Leeds and Crystal Palace, how Arsenal changed and where they could target us. And that's what's been happening since then. And so to play Holding again, it would be insanity. By definition, trying something again and again and again when you already know it's not going to work. There is no reason that playing Holding for me would work against Man City. And so I think we have to try something different. Now, there are lots of alternatives. None of them are very good, truthfully. For me, the most sensible alternative is Jakub Kiwior at right centre-back. Now, yes, Arteta prefers having a right-footed right centre-back and a left-footed left centre-back. But in terms of how it affects the system, in terms of how it would disrupt the system, I think having a left-footed right centre-back is less disruptive than having Holding over Kiwior. Kiwior has the pace that he can play as a covering centre-back. He can play an aggressive high line, which is what we're used to, because he's got the recovery pace to get back. I think he's quite comfortable on his right foot anyway. He's played as a holding midfielder. He's looked comfortable on his right foot to me. His passing range is actually excellent. In terms of the weaknesses, he's looked shaky in the times that he has played for us so far. He's not looked confident. But I just think you have to take that risk. That would be my opinion. He has pace, but he hasn't shown the strength at the moment. Yeah, I don't disagree. He doesn't necessarily have a lot of strength. But I feel like pace is more important against Haaland than strength anyway. And Gabriel's there as the strong, big centre-back. And I just don't see what other options there are. Other alternatives that I've heard today. Partey at right back, Ben White at centre-back. For me, Partey can't play at right back. He tried it for 10 minutes against Crystal Palace. He doesn't have the ability to overlap Bukayo Saka, I don't think. And he'll pull a hamstring or a quad within 10 minutes of trying to sprint. So that for me isn't a great option. I don't mind Jorginho playing in that idea. I don't mind Jorginho playing in the six. He wasn't bad against Man City in the six, but I just don't like Partey at right back. I also don't like Partey at centre back, which I've seen some people suggest. Other alternatives I've seen, most of them involve moving Ben White to centre back and trying to have someone different at right back. I've seen ideas of Kieran Tierney at right back. Doesn't work. He's not confident or comfortable on his right foot at all. And the difference between having a left-footed right centre-back with Kiwior compared to a left-footed right back is that the right back has to use their right foot predominantly all of the time, whereas the centre-back doesn't necessarily have to. So, I mean, maybe Zinchenko at right back and Tierney at left back, but again, that affects us twofold then because we've seen that Tierney affects the system compared to Zinchenko when he's in. I just think we don't have a good alternative. And the only other option is Ruel Walters, bringing him in. But again, I think bringing in a youth player for a title-deciding game against Man City away is reckless. So I don't know what the answer is. And to be fair, with Kiwior, I've seen that he's people have said he's not really ready for a big occasion. He played every game for Poland at the World Cup. He has played in big games. I do think he's capable of doing it. Tierney at centre-back, like Luke Shaw. Yeah, potentially Tierney at centre-back. But again, he'd be on... Either he or Gabriel would be on the wrong side. Gabriel hates his right foot. So that's the difference between having Kiwior right centre-back and Gabriel right centre-back, is that Gabriel's not comfortable at all on his right foot. If you have bad quality on the YouTube stream, I do apologise. It's probably just my internet not being great. But at least the live stream is still up for now. Touch wood. Touch wood. 3 at the back. The thing is, that just completely... 3 at the back completely moves away from everything that we've done this season. I just don't know. And especially if you're going for the win as well, I'm not sure that that's the one. Xhaka definitely out. No, as far as I'm aware, Xhaka should be able to play. Xhaka was ill. He should be able to play. You're no longer in the title race. Please accept this before you get depressed. We're 5 points clear at the top of the table, Alex. I don't know if you've ever watched the Premier League before, but it tends to throw up some interesting results. So I don't think we're out of the title race by any stretch. Could we not try Zinchenko at right back? We could. That is an option. Arteta doesn't rotate and take enough risks like Ten Hag does. Yeah, but equally, Ten Hag's risks can end up in, losing 7-0 away at Anfield. So there's pros and cons to taking big risks. I think Arteta will stick with Holding, unfortunately. I don't think he's willing to change 3 players just to bin Rob. I don't disagree. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Holding. But I don't think we get a result with Holding in the team as much as, and it's not Rob Holding's fault. It's not Rob Holding's fault. I feel so harsh because if Holding's looked at social media, he's getting the brunt of criticism. I don't think the criticism should go with him. He just doesn't suit the system anymore. It's the same as Harry Maguire trying to play at Man United. Harry Maguire is not an absolutely terrible centre-back, but he really doesn't suit the way that Man United are playing under Ten Hag. And it's the same with Rob Holding, unfortunately. Trossard has to start over Jesus for me. I don't know. I'm torn on that one because I think the physicality of Jesus up top is quite useful for evading the Man City press. Do you think Tomiyasu's a massive miss? Tomiyasu is the most underrated miss. In terms of when that injury happened, I certainly didn't sort of register how important it would end up being. See, we didn't know how significant the injury was going to be, but yeah, him missing someone that is versatile enough to play right back, centre back, and left back is huge. It's a huge miss for us. I think if we play three at the back, there is a chance of a smacking like Tottenham got. Yeah, I don't disagree. Especially because none of them have played in a back. A lot of them have never played in a back three, and those that haven't done it in the last 2 years. So we've not really had the time to prepare for that at all. I really don't see us playing a back three. I really don't. But look, anyway, that's the centre-back talk over. The headline is Saliba is not going to play against Man City. He's probably not going to play against Chelsea. And truthfully, he is probably not going to play again this season, which is brutal. It's unfortunate. Shout out everyone on TikTok. Thank you for everyone that's following and dropping likes. I'm sorry that I'd focus on the YouTube stream during the YouTube stream. Links in the bio if you want to head over to that. But moving on, Ainsley Maitland-Niles confirmed today through Fabrizio Romano that he will be leaving Arsenal as a free agent in the summer. He said it's been a great journey, but it has to come to an end now. Southampton is a great club to be at, and if they were to make an offer, I'll be more than happy to stay. Now, that's interesting to me. I mean, first of all, look, I love Maitland-Niles. He had all the ability, but I don't know if he necessarily had the mindset to be at Arsenal. He wasn't willing to play in positions that he didn't want to play in. And actually, brutally, I think if he'd held out for long enough and shown to Arteta that he was willing to just do whatever Arteta wanted, I actually think he could have been a really suitable inverted right back. He always wanted to play in the midfield. He could have played the role that Zinchenko plays off the other side. I always thought he was a decent right wing back. I always thought he was decent as a one-on-one defender as well. So I actually think things could have come out differently. As Joe Madaford said, best penalty taker I've ever seen. He genuinely is the coldest penalty taker I've ever seen. His penalty compilations are unbelievable. Let's do Guess the Gooner before the PC crashes. I'm holding out faith for the PC today. And look, but I think it's interesting what he says, that Southampton's a great club to be at, and if they were to make an offer, I'd be more than happy to stay. Given that it's looking like Southampton are probably going to be in the Championship next season, what's his mentality? Because that, to me, suggests he's not that confident he could get a role at any Premier League club, or that any Premier League club might come in for him. If he's kind of saying to Southampton, look, I'm available. If you make an offer, I'll stay. So I don't know. I think he's good enough to stay in the Premier League. But maybe he doesn't think he's good enough. Will you be on pitch side for the game? No, I'll be on AFTV for the Man City game. I will be on AFTV. He doesn't care anymore. No faith in his growth. Possibly saw something about Saliba's future and contract talks not going well with Arsenal. No, Saliba's contract talks are fine with Arsenal. It's just not been signed yet. I mean, we've not officially had a signing from Saka, but we know it's done. I think Ruben Sellés will be a really good manager. Will bring Southampton straight back up. Possibly. I do think Sellés is a good manager, but coming straight back up from the Championship is very, very difficult to do for anyone. Also, depending on how many players they lose. If they lose the likes of Bella Kotchap and Lavia, which I think they will, they'll be in trouble. Do you think ESR loan will be good? I don't think Smith Rowe would take a loan at this point. I think if he's not a regular sort of feature in the Arsenal lineup next season, I think he'll just leave. Imagine we had won the last 3 games, 11 points clear, basically 5 going to the Etihad, meaning we could afford to lose. I know, but it's all ifs and buts, and isn't it? Unfortunately. So that's it in terms of players at Arsenal for their news. We've got some transfer news though. So Wilfried Zaha, right? This to me is mental. This is coming from Ed Aarons in The Guardian. Crystal Palace have offered Wilfried Zaha a record contract amid interest from top clubs. Wilfried Zaha is weighing up a new 4-year contract offer worth more than £10 million a season to stay at Crystal Palace amid interest from Arsenal, Chelsea, and PSG, but wants assurances over the club's ambition to qualify for European competition before signing. So his current deal is worth £130,000 a year. 10 million a year puts him on 200 grand a week. So he's currently on 130 grand a week. He's being offered 200 grand a week. Now, if Arsenal were to come in and offer anything near 200 grand a week for Wilfried Zaha, I would be pulling my hair out, because that is awful. That is absolute. He is not worth 200 grand a week to anyone at all. I don't care if it's on a free. He simply isn't worth 200 grand a week. So if he's being offered that at Crystal Palace, I think he should take it. It'll be interesting to see what PSG offer. Apparently, they're interested in him. But for me, that's an absolute. And this is the problem with signing players on a free, is that players, generally speaking, demand higher wages because you're not paying a fee for them. And the only way that you can compete with any other club that's in for them is based on wages. But my God, absolutely not. And then the update on Mason. This is coming from David Ornstein again. Mason Mount spoke to Todd Boehly on Friday. Again, I don't know why he's speaking to Todd Boehly, but he spoke to Todd Boehly on Friday. Chelsea co-owner reiterated the 24-year-old's importance and wish to keep him, which has been interpreted at Chelsea as a positive step. But a huge decision lies ahead, as the likes of Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Bayern Munich are all showing interest. Now, that to me, there is always a bit of a tell around a good player. Whether you think Mason Mount's good or not, the fact that Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Bayern Munich under Tuchel, who has managed Mason Mount, are all interested in Mason Mount, I think it says a lot. I do think it says a lot. So that's the update on him. Obviously, who knows what that means? Why Todd Boehly is the one talking to him, I don't know. But there we go. I still think he's going to leave Chelsea. Don't want Mount really, says Ross Lawman. I wouldn't say it's top of my shopping list, but I don't think it's a bad, versatile attacking signing. And he would certainly get into the team over Fabio Vieira based on the way Vieira's playing. And depending on what happens with Smith Rowe, we could lose him as well. You know, it might have to be an option in the end. Mount would improve dramatically under Arteta. That's the other thing. That is the other thing. Rice or Caicedo, both. I mean, both of them put on an absolute clinic yesterday. Both Rice and Caicedo had excellent games yesterday. Mount wouldn't be bad, but ESR is getting more forced out by the day. I agree, and I hate to see Smith Rowe getting frozen out in the way that he is. Clearly, something's going on behind the scenes. It's sad, but if he's going to go, we have to just accept it almost, right? If we got Mount, do you think he would want first team football? He probably would, but I think when you're in the Champions League, Ødegaard's not going to play every game. I think once you're in the Champions League, you can bring players in with the incentive that there will be rotation across the Champions League and the Premier League. Who are we going to get in the summer to replace Holding? Robin Lenormand at Real Sociedad is a player we've looked at. Nathan Wood at Swansea is a player we're looking at. In terms of better options than that, Kim Min-jae at Napoli, he will have a £40 million buyout clause become available to be activated in June, which would be huge. If Smith Rowe leaves, where can you see him going? If Smith Rowe leaves, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends up at Aston Villa. Apparently, they're interested in him. Obviously, it would be a reunion with Unai Emery, who gave him his debut at Arsenal. If Arsenal won the league, could we sign Osimhen? Possibly. If we won the league, we could sign anyone, maybe apart from Jude Bellingham. Would you go in for Gnabry from Bayern and bring him home? I don't know. I don't think he's had a great season. Wrexham to win the league before Spurs wouldn't surprise me. Spurs are in absolute crisis. They really are. Nelson contract news, nothing. He's been offered a new contract. It's an improved contract on what he's currently on. I think he's currently on about 35 grand a week. He's been offered a better contract than that, but he is yet to sign it. And the last we heard was that he wasn't, immediately eager to sign it. So you can take that way. You can take that in the way that you will. But if Villa want Smith Rowe, I'd say 60 million, given how Emmy deal and Louis deal went. Yeah. But I think we'll probably end up getting 35 to 40 million for Smith Rowe. Spurs are apparently going to stack Stellini and give Ryan Mason till the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, so they're going to give the assistant to the interim the job until the end of the season. It's a car crash. It's a car crash. But look, that is all of the news. That is all of the news. It is now time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path without the Arsenal part of it. So you don't know if they're currently at Arsenal, if they started at Arsenal, and you have to guess who it is. The pride, the ball knowledge, Arsenal pride goes to the first person to get it correct in the YouTube chat. If you're on TikTok, the YouTube chat is linked in my bio. This is the ultimate the ultimate test of Arsenal ball knowledge. Ross Lawman, I think, is the current king in the YouTube chat. He's here. He's ready to go again. So this player started at Barcelona. They went on loan to PSG, permanently to Rangers and Real Sociedad, then Everton on loan and Everton permanently. And Thomas Hickey is the winner. Thomas Hickey has got it first in the YouTube chat. It is indeed. Everyone's got it on TikTok as well. I think, obviously, Rangers and Everton probably give it away. Barcelona with the loan to PSG at the start maybe threw a little people off. Someone putting Bella in there, understandable. But it is indeed Mikel Arteta, the boss, the gaffer, the legend, Mikel Arteta. Congratulations, Thomas Hickey. I don't know if that's the first time you've ever won Guess the Gooner, but congratulations. For the next 24 hours, the pride of being the Guess the Gooner champion. Ross Lawman's stream crashed. It is Thomas Hickey's first win. Ross Lawman can't believe it. The stream crashed. He can't believe it. He is fuming. Got it as soon as you said Rangers, my two clubs. Yeah, I think Rangers from Barcelona to Rangers. Not many people make that move. Got close a few times, but there we go. Do an easy one. I thought that was relatively easy. Tom Burton choked it. He can't believe it. Connor thinks he got it first. No, not on mine, Connor. On mine, Thomas Hickey is first there. Am I a Hereford FC supporter? I am indeed. Born and raised in Hereford. Head up, Ross. Yeah, chin up, Ross. Look, we go again, Ross. It is now time for the non-Gooner. Guess the non-Gooner. Their full career path. Obviously, you don't get as much pride for this one because no one cares because they never played for Arsenal. But there is still pride on the line. So, this player started at Tottenham Hotspur. During their time at Tottenham Hotspur, they went on loan to Watford, Peterborough, Bristol City, Sunderland, and Newcastle before ultimately joining Watford permanently and retiring. And it is George Christodoulou who has got it first in the YouTube chat. Lots of people have got it in the TikTok chat as well, but George gets it right first. It is indeed Danny Rose. I don't know if you saw him yesterday, dressed like a Cheryl Cole tribute act. Fair play to him. I actually love it because he just rinses Tottenham whenever he goes on any form of media, which is fantastic to see. But it is indeed Danny Rose. Could he still make it into the Tottenham team? He is currently out of contract. He's not got a club. Why did I know that one but not Arteta? I don't know, mate. Closet Spurs fan. That was absolutely hilarious. I laughed so hard yesterday. Yeah, what was he wearing? What was he wearing? Unbelievable. Always felt bad for him the way he was treated at Spurs. Yeah, I think when you saw that, when he had that conversation with Mourinho on All or Nothing, I did feel sorry for him. But there we go. There we go, ladies and gents. That is the end of Guess the Gooner. Congratulations to our winners. His outfit was screaming, got a match at 2 and a war with the Russians at 6. Unbelievable. Ross Lawman always hated Rose for that wonder strike against us. Yeah, wasn't that like on his debut as well? Absolute screamer. Absolute screamer. What do you think of the Paul Caddis appointment at Hereford? I don't know the bloke, but, I wish him all the best. Poor guy suffered with depression as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think he still battles some demons, Danny Rose. Has he officially retired? I don't know if he's officially retired, but he certainly isn't contracted to a club or not. He's not contracted to a club. If United won the FA Cup, who had a better season, United or Arsenal? For me, Arsenal. Amongst, being in a title race for this long, I think is just better. It's more enjoyable for the fans. We've also not been absolutely battered at any point in this season. You look back throughout United season, they've been embarrassed in Seville. They were embarrassed at Anfield, at Brentford. They've had some poor games. So you think Kane leaves Spurs in the summer? If so, where to? Yeah, I think he's going to go to Man United. I think he's going to go to Manchester United. The problem that Spurs have got, if they sell Kane now compared to if they sold him a couple of years ago, that money, most of it's going to have to go into replacing him. And the money that doesn't replace him is going to have to go into a right back, a left back, 2 centre backs, a midfielder, someone to replace Heung-min Son who looks to have fallen off. Well, they can't do all of that on that budget. So Stellini has been sacked. Breaking news. Breaking news. Stellini has been sacked. That's coming from George and Lawrence in the YouTube chat. We are hearing that Stellini has been sacked. Drop a like on the video to pay respects to Stellini. He has provided us with laughs and laughs and more laughs. I don't know if anyone can verify that Stellini's been sacked. 2 people said it in the chat, so I'm running with it. But what a man. What a man. Forever remembered for 5-0 down in 20 minutes. Fabrizio has confirmed it. It's got the Romano seal of approval. RIP Christian Stellini. So assuming that Ryan Mason takes over, I mean, it's just a car crash. It's an absolute car crash. Aubameyang linked with Barcelona again, along with Firmino. How are they able to get these deals? No, but the reason that they're linked with Firmino and Aubameyang is because they're cheaper options. Vitor Roque is the player that they want, and they're not going to be able to get him because of the price tag. So opens the door to teams like Arsenal and Chelsea, who are both interested in Vitor Roque. Levy is taken over for the rest of the season. Yeah, look, they may as well make Kane interim, honestly. Lampard to Spurs next season, yeah, wouldn't even surprise me. What do you think, Partey centre back? I don't know. I'm not convinced on Partey at centre back. What did you think about Thomas Partey's shot? Look, about 4 people behind the goal probably screamed shoot, and he did it. It's not the reason that we didn't win the game. It was a silly decision. Saw his name in lights. Yeah. But like, people were acting as if that cost us the game. It was just a poor decision. But Fabrizio confirmed that Mason is taking over. So there you go. Ryan Mason takes over at Tottenham Hotspur. Genuinely, I think Tottenham are going to finish 8th this season. If you look at their fixtures coming up, they've got huge games coming up that I don't think they're going to win against Manchester United and Aston Villa. If Liverpool and Brighton win the games in hand that they have over Tottenham, both of them go ahead of Spurs anyway. So that would put them down into 7th. And then you've got Aston Villa. And if Aston Villa beat Tottenham, which I think they will, Aston Villa also go ahead of them. So I genuinely think Spurs are finishing 8th at best this season, which, considering they were looking good for a top 4 spot at the turn of the year. I mean, even when they sacked Conte, they still look good for top 4. That's monumental capitulation. It really is. Kane's going to go to Munich or United. I just can't see him leaving the Premier League. He's never won a trophy. There's a genuine chance he never does win a trophy. The one thing that he will be able to achieve is being the Premier League's all-time goal scorer. I just can't see him moving abroad and sacrificing that achievement. It's actually funny that Harry Kane is still there. Kills me how they convince him to stay every season. It's unbelievable. They were supposedly title challengers as well. When will they learn? When will they learn? When will they learn? Which teams can you see City dropping points to? Us. They will drop points to these teams, but if they are going to drop points, us away I think is difficult. Brighton away, Brentford away. Some people are saying Everton away. I think they beat Everton away. And then actually, I think with the form that West Ham are suddenly hitting, West Ham, even though it's at the Etihad, I don't think West Ham is an easy game for them at the moment either. So there are games, and they play all of them. And they got Chelsea as well. So look, they play all of them in a short period of time. If they beat them all, fair fucking play. Do you know what I mean? Spurs look better with Conte. They did. And Conte was bang on in everything that Conte said in that outburst after the Southampton game. He was bang on. And he's being proven more and more correct the longer time goes on. Relentless says, Rory, mate, I'm so devastated. The Saliba injury causes 3 draws and probably the title. It is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully it doesn't cost us the title. It's brutal. But also, you've got to look at it, right, in terms of the club's progression. Arteta has maintained that we're at phase 3 of his 5-phase plan. And one of the reasons for that will be that when Saliba gets injured, we're bringing in Rob Holding. Man City have just had Nathan Ake get injured, and they bring in £60 million Aymeric Laporte, who gets into every other Premier League side without any difficulty. That's the difference. That's where Arsenal simply, you can't make all of those changes to the squad in 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. It takes time. And so, you know, as much as people say, oh, excuses and oh, this, that, and the other, you've just got to be realistic about where we are in the rebuild and in the process. And we could have got lucky. We could have not had injuries to Saliba, to Jesus, but we didn't. And that's just life. And if we hadn't had those injuries, it wouldn't have mattered that Rob Holding was the backup right centre back. It just is what it is. It is what it is. Thoughts on Poch to Chelsea? I don't think it's a great appointment. To me, Poch hasn't shown he's capable of managing the highest level team in the highest pressure situations and winning trophies. Stage 3 out of 5, Arteta is going absolutely nowhere. I agree. Love how fans are so in denial about Arsenal saying we've bottled the title. It's because it's all they've got. They've been desperate to throw something at us all season. It has genuinely pained fans to see us where we've been this season. If Kane breaks goal record and wins the Prem, do you think he has a better Prem legacy than Henry? Legacy, maybe. But I still don't think you could ever call him a better player than Henry. Would you have Henry as assistant manager? I don't know, because you never know how a player is going to be as a manager. Truthfully, in terms of the coaching roles he's had since retiring, he's not done fantastically well. Truthfully, he's not. Have you heard Ange Postecoglou has been offered the Chelsea job? I didn't hear that. Yeah, but I don't know what they're talking about in terms of offering the jobs, because Nagelsmann thought that he basically was a shoo-in for the job and that the interviews and stuff were a formality. And then in the second interview, they told him it wasn't just a formality. And he basically went, well, I'm not interested then. So Saka or Rashford, who's better? For me, Saka, purely on a creativity level. I think you could argue that Rashford is a more clinical scorer. But in terms of all-round game, IQ, creativity, I'd rather have Bukayo Saka in a team. He's also 4 years younger. I don't think I'd want Henry involved in the club ever since the Daniel Ek takeover. Yeah, I agree. You don't have to. Man United are a great example of you don't have to bring back ex-players, and ex-legends aren't always the best option. Do you think if Arteta gets an offer at Madrid, he'll leave? No, I really don't understand. I'm not having a go at you, Ollie. I don't understand the Madrid links at all. He grew up and developed at La Masia, at Barcelona's youth. It would be the equivalent of him taking the Tottenham job. It would be the equivalent of Jack Wilshere taking a Tottenham job. If he went to Barcelona, I'd understand it. But Barcelona are doing their own rebuild under Xavi, and they're happy with Xavi. So I just do not understand this idea. Rio Ferdinand basically said, yeah, I've got... What did he say? Yeah, Rio Ferdinand basically said, oh, I know someone who knows someone. And yeah, I'm here, and Arteta wants Madrid. They spout. The ex-pros have this sort of privilege of being able to just say, oh, well, I heard this, spout a load of shit, and people just go, oh, well, he's an ex-pro, so I'm sure he heard something. It's just not Barcelona, maybe. Madrid, no chance. Joe Willock's too cold with it. What an assist from Joe Willock yesterday. What an assist. Lots of people saying assist of the season today. I can't help but think back to Martin Odegaard's assist to Martinelli away at Brighton there. But one of those two is probably assist of the season. Thoughts on Arsenal being the only club in London in Europe next season? I hadn't even thought about it, but you're correct. Look, pride of London, pride of London. London is red. Just seen the Spurs news on my days. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the YouTube stream. I massively appreciate, as always, all of you that have turned up. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please do subscribe if you're new. Smash a like on the video. It really, really does help. I'll be back tomorrow, live at 5. Other than that, have a fantastic evening, and I will catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.